What it do? What the business is? What's up, family? I am Lope, God of vibration, Lord of light, Master of energy, King of dimensions, and welcome to Culture and Consciousness. All right, man, we're gonna jump right into it. The title of this video is "The Lucifer Myth Explained." I just released an article with the same title a couple days ago on my website, cultureandconscious.com. Definitely go check that out. This video is going to be a review of that article. So that article lays everything out in text. And this is going to be like the short, dirty version of that. So I wanted to do this because I feel like not a lot of people understand the figure Lucifer, right? And there's a lot of different things that people have to say, depending on who you ask, they'll give you a different story about the significance of Lucifer and who Lucifer is. So I just wanted to give you guys a very factual write-up review of who the character Lucifer is. So let's get into it. All right, so we're going to start from the bottom and we're going to work our way up. We're going to build up the dramatics, okay? So first off, we're going to start with the bare meaning of the word Lucifer. Lucifer is a Latin word, okay? It's not Greek, it's not English, it's a Latin word. It's composed of two parts. Lux, which means light. If you're a science person, you know lux means light. And ferus or fere, which means to bring or to bear. So in its most, fundamental sense, the word Lucifer means light bearer or light bringer. Okay, so that's significant. Remember that. Also, the term Lucifer is referred to as a noun. They use it to refer to the planet Venus, which they refer to as the morning star, because right at dawn, before daybreak, you can see the planet Venus. So they refer to Venus as the morning star, and the term Lucifer is also used to refer to the planet Venus, the morning star. Okay? Okay, all that's significant. We're going to come back to that. Now, in early century AD, there were several different versions of the Bible floating around. You had a couple Greek versions. You had a lot of Latin versions. So the Pope at this time, I can't remember which Pope it is, doesn't matter. The Pope at this time, he ordained a guy named Jerome to write an official Latin version of the Bible to replace all these random versions. And so Jerome went to Bethlehem to write what became known as the Latin Vulgate. So this is a well-known version of the Bible. The Latin Vulgate became the Bible. So in doing that, the expectation was that he would take the Old Testament was originally written in Hebrew. So the expectation was that Jerome would take the Hebrew version of the Bible and translate it to Latin. Okay? In doing that, it appears that some of the Greek versions influenced Jerome's translation. And I'm going to tell you why we say that in a minute. So the way the term Lucifer found its way in your Bible is through a verse that everybody talks about when they talk about Lucifer, Isaiah 14:12. Okay, this is the significant verse that mentions Lucifer in your Bible. Now, this verse reads, I got my Bible here because I'm gonna read it straight out the book. This is the 1611 edition of the King James Version. So this is like the first ordained English version of the Bible to be written. I can give you a whole history on that, but for a long time they only wanted people reading the Latin version of the Bible, the Latin Vulgate version of the Bible. And at some point, because people start kind of bucking and writing their own little English versions, they finally said, okay, we'll let y'all write an English version of the Bible. This is it. And so this was kind of revered as, the best translation. A lot of different people, I forget how many different people worked on the translation. So this became the stamp. All right. So Isaiah 14:12 reads, How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? Okay? Now, the way the term that Jerome used to translate Lucifer was a Hebrew word called Hillel. Okay? Now, Hillel, a lot of people will say that's a mistranslation of the word Hillel. So the reason why I say obviously some of those Greek versions influence his translation is because one of the Greek versions used the term phosphorus or eosphorus for the word to translate Hillel. And phosphorus is a direct same meaning as Lucifer. Phosphorus, Lucifer, same thing. Phosphorus is Greek, eosphorus is classical Greek, and Lucifer is Latin. But they both mean the same thing. Light bearer, morning star, Venus. Totally same. So Jerome, in translating the Hebrew version, used the same word as the Greek word, the Greek translation used phosphorus. Okay, so that is how Lucifer, the term Lucifer, found its way in the Bible. Now, at this point, it's still not meant to be anything evil, demonic, whatever. It's just meaning morning star, day star, you know? And so that's where the confusion comes. So you got some people who will say that's a mistranslation, but you also have some people who say the translation of Hillel is morning star, day star. So when you go read all of your new versions of the Bible, I forget, I can't keep up with all these versions, but all of your new versions, when you read that verse, they instead of using Lucifer, they use morning star or day star. I've seen it both ways. And so that's, saying that's the significance of that. And so if that is the case, then phosphorus and Lucifer were absolutely the right words to use there. And that is how the term Lucifer found its way in your Bible. Now, like I said, the term Lucifer, hold on, let me check my audio because this shit be tripping sometime. All right, we good. All right, so the term Lucifer, the Latin Vulgate version of the Bible was the only version used for like over 1,000 years. It was like the Bible, okay? And because of the verse that it was used in, because you hear him talking about how art thou fallen, how art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer. And in another verse in the Bible, they talk about Satan getting kicked out of heaven. Satan being an angel, fallen angel, and all that. So because of that, the word Lucifer got associated with Satan, and it stuck. Okay, it stuck. And so when they eventually did write this King James version of the Bible, instead of translating the Hebrew, that's where a lot of this shit get jacked up, man, in these translations from Hebrew to Greek to Latin to English and all that shit. So instead of translating the Hebrew word Hillel, which would have translated as morning star, because they already had this association of Lucifer with Satan, they made that a proper noun, and they kept it as Lucifer. In that verse, in the King James version, they kept that word as Lucifer, which if you Lucifer is Latin, so if you translating that to English, it should have been morning star or day star. So with that story, I'm gonna give you side one and side two. All right, side one is like, oh shit, man, we messed up. That's a big mistake. Side two was like, nah, nigga, I see what you did right there, nigga. You ain't slick. You know what I'm saying? So on side one, damn, they just messed up. You know what I'm saying? They slipped up, and you got the new versions of the Bible that came and fixed it. All right. So that's how the term Lucifer found its way in the Bible. All right. So That's part one. Now we're gonna go to side two. All right. So all that what I just said would be fine and dandy, except for one thing. In ancient Roman culture, they had a god named Lucifer. These slick motherfuckers. They had a god named Lucifer who was the son of a goddess named Aora. And she was the goddess of the dawn. Okay, so like I said, Lucifer was associated with Venus, the morning star. He still was as a part of this deity that they had in their culture. So I would go for the story of, oh, this was just a big, mistranslation. Except y'all already had a figurehead in y'all culture named Lucifer. So to me, you just slipped one of your deities off in the mix of everything. You know what I'm saying? And associated with that, this is a sidebar, associated with that in Greek culture, they had a deity named Phosphorus, same thing, associated with Venus, the morning star, and or Eosphorus in classic Greek, who was the son of the dawn goddess Eos. And they had a celebration. They had like a celebration that they celebrated every spring called Easter. And a lot of people say that's where Easter comes from, which is celebrated in the spring. And so a lot of people don't even know you celebrating Easter. That shit comes from the celebration of the goddess Eos, who is the mother of Eosphorus, which is the Greek version of Lucifer. So you ain't goddamn Easter, goddamn celebrate Jesus, and you celebrating Lucifer, or the mother of Lucifer. And you can go back even further than that to BC times. Ancient Mesopotamia, the Akkadians had a goddess called Ishtar. And Ishtar too was associated with the planet Venus, the morning star. So even when that Hebrew version was written, when they put that morning star in there, could have been a reference to Ishtar. But either way, morning star had been associated with Venus and deities all the way from BC times. Okay, so I definitely ain't buying it. And I've seen write-ups where people will tell you that the significance of Easter comes from the celebration of the goddess Ishtar too. So either way, you celebrating Easter, that shit ain't got nothing to do with what you think it got something to do with. But that's another deity also associated with Venus. Now, with that said, and I kind of hit it on this in the article, but I didn't go there. But there's a lot of people who will tell you that Lucifer and Jesus are the same being. And they use the Bible to come to that conclusion, because in the Bible, they both are referred to. Let's see. Okay. They both are referred to as morning star or day star. You have verses in the Bible where Jesus is referred to as the morning star, day star. And you have verses or a verse where Lucifer is. So they will use that to say, oh, these are the same people. I'm not going to debate that with y'all right now. I got other videos where I tell you my personal thoughts on who I think Lucifer is or what I think Lucifer is. And so we're going to leave that over there. But I'm just throwing out, a lot of shit for you to go do your own research on. Okay? So that's part two. That's the second side of the story. And because of that, I can't just buy that, this adjective through translation became a proper noun, Lucifer, and a figurehead, when you just so happen to have a figurehead by the name of Lucifer in your culture and in your society. So that's the breakdown on Lucifer. Who is Lucifer? Lucifer is an ancient Roman god associated with the planet Venus, the morning star, son of the goddess Aora. And if you want to break it down, the way it found it, the way Lucifer got in your Bible is it was a translation from the Hebrew term Hallel, which is translated by some as morning star, and the term Lucifer in Latin or in Roman culture was referred to as the morning star, which is Venus. And so that's my breakdown on the significance of Lucifer. Go check out my article on cultureandconscious.com. It lays everything out. And you know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment. Let me know if, this kind of changed the way you thought about this shit. Cause it definitely, changed the way I thought about it. So yeah, man, that's all I got for y'all. This is Lope, God of Vibration, Lord of Light, Master of Energy, King of Dimensions.